Hey guys, welcome back to Doc's Autos. What is going on? This is Tim, and today we are back to working on the 1952 Chevy Styleline doors. I have been working a little bit behind the scenes on a test panel that I picked up from the local junkyard, and I've been working to go through and just kind of work on some dent removal. This all done with hammer and dolly, filler. Got some of my priming or etching primer on there, and just waiting to grab my my sealer and primer from O'Reilly's. So this is what I've been working on behind the scenes, and this is all very good compared to what it was. Here's a picture of what it looked like when I brought it home. Again, just kind of a sample that I could work on and fiddle with. So back over to the door itself, we've got all of our trim off. We've got our dents pulled out for the most part here. And my next step that I'm going to do is go ahead and finish removing trim. Got the door handle to pull out, and then this rear vent window comes out, that whole assembly comes out in that little chrome pillar. Finish knocking out the rest of these little clips or clasps, whatever you want to call them. And then it starts scuffing everything up. Then what I'll do is run through here with the body filler and fill in where those creases were and skim those over with some of the dolphin glaze. And by about that time, we should have our materials for paint and seal. So let's just get to it. Alrighty, well, we've got the door up here on our little makeshift stand, and my first plan of attack here is to get out this little vent window. A couple of screws here, and here. There's a couple along the top of the door frame. I already took those out. So once we get these screws out, this should in theory pull up and out, and then there's just going to be a long guide in here for the main window. So I remember the front windows I redid or the front doors I redid the door gaskets on, and there was this long channel in here for the window. So I'll take care of taking that out. We don't want to disrupt the window in here. I'm guessing finding replacement glass is not terribly cheap. So let's go ahead and try and get this this window out. Now I remember there was a trick with the other window to get it out. I take this little trim piece off too. Screws back in here so I don't lose them. Got a Tupperware container of all of my other screws for this door. Of course, they're in the car, down in the shop. Well, that was a brittle rubber drain hose. So I'm sure that will be fun to collect, and I don't even see where that drains out of. A little click you heard was a little drain hose, which broke off, ran down inside here. And I don't see where that it even would have drained out, because down here there's no hoses anywhere. So where was that drain coming out of? Anyways, let's get back and try and work on getting this out. to have to dig a little more on how to get this out. But for right now, it's not as important because I don't have all the materials yet for spraying. So we will just go ahead and table this for now. Do a little more research on how to get that out. I remember there was a trick to do it, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so we will come back to this. The upside is that these gaskets do look to be in pretty good shape. The ones in the front doors were just cracked beyond belief, but these gaskets here do look decent still. The door gaskets themselves, those are dried and crusty and getting replaced. But let's go ahead and catalog our parts, flip it over, and go back to working on prepping for the body filler. Alrighty, so we've got our door flipped back over here, and I'm just going to work on scuffing up right around where the filler is going in. And for that, we'll use our DA sander and let her go. So while I am going to end up going and going over the entire panel, I wanted to hit the areas that I could visibly see right now and get those scuffed up. So you saw there's a couple other spots here, little gashes or cuts in the paint, and I want to make sure I go ahead and get those filled in too. We will go ahead and go over the entire panel and get this all blocked and primed out, but for right now I just want to go over the big blemishes that I can visually see. And then we'll come back, you know, there's all this rust down here to deal with, and of course on the underside. But just go ahead and get the filler and skim in for right now in the major areas, and then we can come back and fill in the more minor spots. All right, so I'm just getting the last of the first coat of filler on here, and laying that in here. We will let this dry and come back and sand it off and do it all over again until we get our spots filled in. So we'll be back and sand her down in just a few minutes. All right, here we are back. I've got my first coat of filler around here, so I'm gonna hit up the sander and knock it down. All right, so here's our first pass at it here. There's still a few low spots you can see, so I have to go fill those in. Another coat up top. Pretty good over here, and then along here where a lot of the dimpling was, feels pretty good. Right in here is excellent. Again, a little bit of a low spot right here. So we'll go ahead and put another coat over here. Get it smoothed out. And I noticed, I couldn't tell in the other door, I think it's the same, but there's a little of a crease here, bend down, and then right through here, it looks like a nice, even kind of half moon indent too. I think I noticed it in the other door as well, and granted they're both dented in the similar spot. I can't tell if it's an actual dent or if it was manufactured that way with a little bit of a dip in here. So I'm just going to kind of roll with however the filler comes out in here and go with that. So I'll go ahead and get this cleaned off and throw another layer of filler on and let that dry. Alrighty, well, we are back here, another new day, and we've been working along off camera getting a couple more coats of filler on, and here's where we're at right now. We have about three light coats on here. These areas here was where the damage was, and I didn't want to put a heavy coat in there and have it not dry fully, so I've been putting some thinner coats on there, getting those feathered out. And we are down to just a little area right in here. Needs to be brought up a little more to follow the contour of the door. And the same thing right down in here, just a little space to follow that contour. Then we can blend that in. And one little spot right here by this hole. So once we have that done, we will go ahead and hit it with the skim coat. And later on this week, our sealer and primer will be here, so we'll be able to get this door shot and at least these areas sealed up and protected. And I'll probably just go ahead and run a coat over the entire door once it's scuffed, and then work on the inside too. So that's where we're at, and I'm not going to bore you with putting on filler again and sanding it down because, well, we've seen that on everybody's channel. So we'll come back once we get the last coat of filler on and sand it down, and then we'll go ahead and put on our Dolphin skim coat. So we'll catch you in just a moment. All right, folks, we are back here. We've got the panel all cleaned up here for right now. Multiple coats of filler on there. Build it up a little bit, especially right down in here, and then up here where those couple of grooves were. So I'm going to go ahead and take the little bit of diamond or dolphin glaze and slather some of that on here and let her dry and start the whole process over again. Apparently I did not make enough. So we'll go ahead, mix up another batch, and come back and get this top section. All right, come back with a little more this top section here. All of our paint supplies, or most of our paint supplies, came in. I actually got all of our Nason paints yesterday. Should get the rest of our stuff tomorrow. Some more mixing cups and strainers and whatnot. Had some stuff laying around, but I just wanted to start off with fresh stuff that hasn't been sitting around collecting dust. Go. That's going to be enough this time around. Ooh, got a piece of trash in there. Where did you come from? Oh, I may have to go over it again. We'll see. But for now, we're just going to let this sit. All right, so we've gone ahead and got our dolphin glaze all across here. Let this dry up, and hopefully only need to put one coat on, maybe a little more right around here. But that's going to be it for this. I'm going to go ahead and scuff up the rest of the panel. Still working on getting out that vent window and the door handle. And then my thought is I'm going to take some of the paint supplies we just got in all of our Nason paint this week, do a small sample on my test panel here, and just kind of see how things work. I don't know that I wanted to shoot the door without doing a test panel, having not used these products before. So that is kind of my thought. Otherwise, I just kind of go for it all or nothing, right? And make up a big batch and shoot the doors. Bring up the other doors, get those cleaned up first, and then to shoot everything at once and hope it works. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to play it safe and use my test panel and get that sprayed out first. And if I have a little bit of extra material, I guess so be it. But I think better to be safe than sorry. And yeah, so for right now, we're going to run. And when we come back, we'll go ahead and getting the door finished, getting it prepped for paint. And maybe we'll bring up the other door and start working on that. Or I'll flip this door over and start working on everything on the backside, the little bit of rust, and get that prepped so we can spray everything at once. So that'll be kind of a choose your own adventure for our next video here. So otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed and liked this and maybe taught you something, or you found something to tell me I'm doing wrong. Either way, go ahead and hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.